I have a complicated history with Bubsy. To date, I've only played 2 games in the Bubsy franchise, the first being Bubsy The Woolies Strike Back during Bad Game Summer 2021. To say that Bubsy Woolies Strike Back is a piss-poor game is insulting piss and piss-related things and activities. Clearly I loved that one. And now Bubsy 3D, a game that is probably the worst platformer I've ever played. This is such a crummy experience that I can confidently say that I liked Woolies Strike Back more. It's like saying you prefer getting hit in the nuts with Lucille to getting donkey kicked in the face. Really? I want to at least recognize the fact that this game was released in November of 1996 and the PlayStation was released in North America in September of 1995, so 3D platformers were still pretty new. You might think to yourself, oh, so these games are just sort of finding their footing, or something. And normally I'd agree, except a little game called Super Mario 64 came out a few months earlier than Bubsy in June of 1996. As my audience probably knows, going from Super Mario 64 to, well, this is a lot like going from Captain America: The First Avenger to Captain America: Brave New World.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Or from Ghost of Tsushima to Assassin's Creed Shadows. I feel like doing a whole video of these comparisons might be fun. Anyway, it bears mentioning that I found out that the game is unfinished, which makes this the second unfinished game that I've reviewed this summer. You play as Bubsy the Bobcat, who looks a little bit like Bill the Cat's stunt double and sees fit to wear a t-shirt but no pants. I had this neighbor about 25 years ago who did that, and it was pretty gross. He would sun himself in the front yard across the street from me and scream at his mother to make him food from the front yard. I don't know why it's always ugly people who like taking their clothes off in public. Anyway, Bubsy's enemies are the Woolies, an alien race that is always trying to steal all the wool balls on Earth for some reason. In this game, Bubsy was captured by the Woolies, but then the rocket carrying him crashes onto an alien planet, I'm guessing because their pilot was a DEI hire. So now you have to collect other rocket pieces and atoms in each level to get back to Earth. It is a simple enough premise, and it gets the job done. The game has a very colorful look to it, though the graphics, even for a pretty early PS1 game, are terrible. Everything has this weird, almost minimalist geometric shape to it that reminded me of the auto-scrolling mountain that you'll see on so many synthwave-themed pictures and things like that these days. This game reminds me a lot of Earthworm Jim 3D because, once again, Bubsy is the only thing that seems like the developers put any effort into. His head was pretty huge on his body, but otherwise he's the most animated and lifelike of any of the characters in this. The enemies barely look like anything, with the Woolies themselves looking like, I don't know, shit. It just all looks like shit. I mean, look at them. The Woolies have always looked retarded to begin with, and they kind of look like that caterpillar thing from the Danger Mouse cartoon, but this is worse than usual. Are those straws sticking out of his head? And why are there so many things checkered in this? The enemies barely animate and move, and the few times they do is when they shoot something at you. In fact, a lot of the crap in this game just doesn't really look tangible. The checkpoints are just weird little pointy, abstract shapes. These switches, and I use that term very loosely, is just a box with a little propeller thing on it. And then these fans don't really look like fans. They're just more little shapes that spin, and that's all. The slime in this is just a bright green color, and at first I thought they were just more tiles to walk on until I instantly died the moment this idiot's foot went a centimeter too far over it. And in the water levels as well, there's just more weird, abstract-looking things. I can't imagine what it would do to someone who dropped acid and played this. They'd probably be in a corner screaming for 12 hours. But you know what? The dumpster fire graphics are the least of this game's problems. What awaits anybody who plays this is the worst, most rage-inducing platforming I've ever experienced in a game. So here's the thing. I'm a grown adult. It really takes a lot to make me angry in a game now, and I'm not just talking frustrated for the sake of ranting about it in a video, but like really angry. And this game does it. And the level design isn't even that bad. That has nothing to do with it. It is how Bubsy controls. So to start with, Bubsy's controls reminded me a lot of Tomb Raider. Running in a straight line is easy enough, but as soon as you have to turn the little is when you lose most of the control of him because he turns very wide while running. This will get you missing jumps, it's going to get you damaged, and it will get you killed a lot. There is no pinpoint movement in this. You're better off having to turn him while he's standing still or hitting the buttons to make him shimmy left and right, which means watching him slowly shift in the direction that you want him to go in. There are levels where you'll have to jump on moving conveyor belts, but then jump on another platform facing a different direction. If you try to go at this like a Mario game and just try to run toward the platform, you'll probably sail right over it and get killed, so the best thing to do is jump again to stop your momentum, and then basically continue jumping in place until you can figure out where it's safe to land. Or jump sideways while facing the direction you'll eventually have to face to get onto the next platform, so you won't have to turn at all. Swimming sucks too, as the game forces water levels on you, and frankly, I'd rather be by a dolphin than play through these. Ironically, this cat actually controls better in water than on land, which is really kind of saying something. During my travels underwater, I found out that the dash move rapidly depletes Bubsy's oxygen level, drowning him very quickly. I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy seeing that at least a little bit. Also out to get him are these fish with dog heads and these starfish that have tapped into the speed force, and if you get close enough for them to notice you, they are so fast that they are unavoidable and will hurt you. These levels seem to be the shortest because I would just try to find ways to swim over everything and exit as quickly as possible. I briefly mentioned the jumping, but that's monkey shit as well. Why is that, Ed, you might ask? Well, because whenever he jumps, the camera shifts to a top-down view, sort of like 1995's Jumping Flash on the PlayStation. In a way, you'd think it makes jumping on enemies easier, and it would if the camera didn't pull in tight enough that you can't actually see anything else that's going on around you. This will lead you to get hit, and it'll lead you to miss jumps because in addition to not being able to see, Bubsy's shadow doesn't line up in a way that makes that useful either. So on the levels where you have to jump from one conveyor belt to another, you're going to fall off the platform and start over and have to memorize what comes next so that you're not jumping so blindly next time. I mentioned the conveyor belts a lot because in later levels they show up frequently. Taking damage is one of the worst parts of this game and you'll get hit a lot. See, when Bubsy takes damage, he falls on his butt and is stunned for a moment, and the camera pans around to look at his face. This makes it really difficult to have to know where to jump out of the way of an enemy hitting you again, and they will wait until you get up and are vulnerable to shoot at you. I hate this. It also means that when you take damage on something like a conveyor belt, he's just going to sit there and roll right off the edge like an invalid. This will also cause you to start over and die. Have you not hit a checkpoint yet? Have fun back at the start of the level. There are even times where I would jump on an enemy to kill them, and they'd shoot at the same time and I'd kill them and get damaged. I died so many times fighting the first boss because there's no indication of what you have to do, which is apparently use this little glide move of Bubsy's after dodging the projectile, and then using the puddle that it leaves on the floor to boost you up, and then you have to make it over there in time to bop the guy on the head in the air. The second boss is this elephant that will try to ram you and then fall over on his back and you jump on his stomach, which isn't really that bad, but I don't know how many times I hit him and he just never died. Like, he would not die. All of these things work together to make the gameplay so unnecessarily difficult that there is absolutely no fun to be had in this. There are so many things in this game that serve as a giant middle finger, it's almost as if I made it myself. It's like the game actively fights against you to enjoy yourself. Because here's the thing, I don't even have any problems with the level design or the enemies. Hell, I can even get over the camera showing his stupid, retarded-looking face when he gets hit. The controls are really what ruin this game more than anything else. And that's really all I have to say about Bubsy 3D. It made me realize the Woolly Strike Back isn't actually the worst one. I mean, it's still really awful, but it's not the worst one. Despite having similarly cursed controls, cursed graphics, cursed enemies, the whole thing is cursed. I'll go beyond that and say it's hexed. It's like it visited New Orleans and angered some local witch doctor, and now it's handicapped, it looks retarded, and it has a really annoying voice. I will never play this again, and my life will be better for it. What's coming up next week? Make sure you subscribe to find out, and thanks for watching.